Welcome to Tableau demonstration session. Okay. So before starting up the session, let me introduce myself quickly. So myself, I'm Ganesh. I have 12.9 years of a corporate experience and 8.5 years of a trainer experience, which includes both physical training as well as the online training. But for past 4.5 years, I'm focusing only on the online training. Okay. And I have on-site experience as 7 years, where I used to work in California with one of the gigantic customer. And the strong domain expertise what I have is BFS, banking and financial services, retail, and e-commerce services. Okay, coming to my technical expertise is I have much familiar with the most of the versions of the Tableau, and I'm into SAP also, SAP business objects also. That is also one of the reporting tool. Okay, so now what am I going to do is I'm going to give a bird's eye view on this Tableau. Okay, how it is going to helpful to your careers, those who are coming from the different platforms, and how it is value added, how it is going to grade up your job level, okay. So let's discuss from that perspectives. But before that, I will definitely make sure that I will let you know what is Tableau, what is the purpose. So let's discuss from that perspective. Okay, Tableau is a self-discovery tool, data discovery, as well as I can say that it is a data visualization tool. Okay, data visualization tool. I can't say it is a reporting tool. More than that, it is a data visualizations. Visualizations in the sense better representations of a data with precise information, with better interactivity, efficiently and effectively. Because Tableau is having a sophisticated technology in order to represent various set of organizational data. Okay. For example, look at this sample report. Okay. So this kind of a report I can generate via Tableau. So what is this? This is not a traditional reporting stuff, just like your SAP business objects or Cognos or MicroStrategy or SSRS, something like this. This is not a traditional reporting tool. This is an advanced reporting solution where we can represent the data in an efficient way with a better visualizations. Okay, even an end user, I mean to say a non-technical person, the business person, they can also generate this kind of reports very easily, where end users can interact with this kind of reporting elements very easily. So no need of involving much coding as well, until unless it requires high end of customizations. Okay. So this sort of an example. Okay, this kind of a sophisticated reporting stuff that can be generated via Tableau. This is just an example. Okay, and this Tableau is being used across the different domains, guys, like bankings, manufacturings, investments and wealth management, sports management, telecommunications, supply chain management, whatnot. It is being spread out, okay, across the globe. Okay, with the different sectors of a data. Now, you can ask me a question. Why should I go ahead with the Tableau? Why can't I go ahead with the other reporting tools, as a traditional one, as an advanced one? If you look at here, Spotfire and QuickView is also advanced reporting solutions. But Cognos, MicroStrategy, SSRS, OBI, WebFocus, these are all SAP BO, these are all traditional one. But what is the difference between a traditional reporting tool as well as the advanced reporting solutions? Yes, because these traditional reporting solutions, right, cost wise and maintenance wise, it requires a lots of manpower, and in terms of additional activities it requires. For example, if I would like to go ahead with a traditional reporting tool like SAP BO, okay, where we are required some kind of a metadata layers called universes, middle layers called universes. Okay, where you are again putting some efforts to define that middle layer concept, or we used to call it as metadata layer. But in the area of advanced reporting like Tableau, you no need to define that metadata layer, where you can interact with the sources directly. And you can ask me a question: if I interact with the data source directly, there will be a performance issue. No, because Tableau is having a concept of in-memory, and other reporting solutions, they do not have this kind of a in-memory concept. And you can...
Hello, Ganesh,
Yes.
with you.
Yes.
ClickView also has an in-memory feature, right?
Yes, I agree with that. But I'll tell you the difference, okay? ClickView is also, because
Okay.
ClickView and Spotfire, these are all advanced reporting solutions along with the Tableau, okay? But when I compared with the Tableau and Spotfire and ClickView, Tableau is having a wide spread out the customers. Throughout the globe, most of the customers are using Tableau, okay? But when I compared with the Spotfire and ClickView, Tableau is having better performance, and it is mostly user driven, okay? And let me show you guys. As I mentioned, right, Tableau is a kind of a reporting solution, as what we have seen here, data visualization solutions like this, okay? Now, Tableau is basically involved with a few elements in terms of to define a Tableau dashboard. That is, like you have Tableau desktop, which is exclusively helpful to develop a dashboard via this Tableau. Okay, so this desktop is ready to interact with the various data sources, okay, and where we can fetch the respective data from the respective sources, okay. Now look at this, let me show you, and we will be discussing the advanced version, that is 9.1 version. We will be discussing in our upcoming sessions. And in the month of January, okay, in 2016, they are about to release 9.2 version also, okay. Now look at this, guys. Let me show you some sample example. See, what is this? Tableau desktop. So Tableau desktop is the application, is the layer which is used to develop your dashboards. Look at this, like modeling and reporting, all sort of development would be done over here. For example, let me show you this, guys. You have what? Desktop, Tableau desktop. With the help of this Tableau desktop, you can able to generate this kind of a sophisticated reports. Look at this. For example, let's say I would like to, okay, ignore this, right? Ignore this error. Okay, I would like to know the population and birth rate of respective across the globe, how it is happening. See, look at this. See, look at this, guys. Look at the population ratio and what is the birth rate, okay, whether it is male or female. Okay, look at this. So this kind of sophisticated reporting stuff that can be done via Tableau. Okay, let me tell you guys. So as I mentioned, right, Tableau desktop is exclusively helpful for the modeling and reporting, which means all sort of a development would be happening here in terms of a development of your dashboard, okay, where you can create the charts, okay, and where you can have the reporting elements, and where you can have, where we can extract the data from different data sources, all sort of activities can happen at a desktop level. But this desktop, right, is more of like two different types, like personal as well as the professional. Personal, most of the times in a real-time world, we'll be using professional desktop. Okay, these professional desktops are helpful to interact with the 40 plus different data sources. Okay, and to develop this kind of sophisticated reporting solutions. Look at this. You can do a sort of drilling functionalities. All sort of activities can be done. Okay, look at this. Look at the graph. Right. Come on. Okay, I'll show you how to develop a report, a basic dashboard through this desktop, guys. Look at this, simple. You need to interact with the respective data sources, and it supports, look at here guys, these many data sources. Okay, see, it supports with interact with the Google Analytics, Google BigQuery, okay, and it supports with the to interact with the Hadoop data source also. Hadoop is like a big data, okay, even it supports, and to interact with the HP Vertica database, IBM DB2 database, and SQL Server database, MySQLs, Oracle, okay, SAP HANA platform, okay, Teradata, Spark SQL, okay, and it is ready to interact with the different data sources. Now what am I going to show is, let me show you how to interact with a respective source of SQL Server. I am going to take an example of a SQL Server. So if that is the case, you need to have a server first, okay, that is respective server name of your database. Okay, and to interact with this, we should have the respective database details. Okay, it is trying to interact with the data source. So all what you need is, you need to provide respective login details to interact with any source. That's it. And the respective details from the respective tables and all, you can fetch it very easily, and you can generate the dashboards accordingly. You no need to have a kind of a metadata layers here. In the area of the traditional reporting tools, we used to have a metadata layer, but in the case of Tableau, you can avoid the intervention of the metadata layers because it is having a concept of in-memory. That is the reason. Okay, let it connect to the source. This Tableau desktop, right, I mean to say professional desktop, is a cost of $1,999, okay, where it is, these desktops, right, is not only for the gigantic customer, even for the small revenue based companies also they are using these professional desktops, okay. And the another desktop type what we have is personal desktop, and personal desktop is having certain limitations in terms of interacting with the data, where it accepts only with the 6 data sources, okay, only it will try to interact with the 6 data sources, okay. But in the area of professional desktop, it can interact with the 40 plus different data sources. And in terms of a maintenance wise, right, it won't support Unix platform. At this moment, Tableau is supporting only Windows as well as the Mac operating systems, and it is purely Windows based tool, guys, okay, and it requires minimum hardware configurations like 2 GB memory and 750 megabytes minimum free disk space it is required, 2 GB of RAM it is required. Now let me show you, look at this. This is the professional desktop appearance, okay. So this is the data source, okay guys, and these are all your data source elements, okay, where we used to call it from the RDBMS point of view, we used to call it as tables, and this is reporting elements. Look at this, okay, where all what you need to do is, you don't need to write down much of coding, okay. All what you need to do is, you need to just drag and drop the respective elements, that's it, Okay, now look at this. This is kind of a geographic stuff, geographic data element, where all what you need to do is just needs to drag and drop these respective sources. That's it. Okay, and obviously dashboard is going to be generated with an advanced way. Meantime, what is the another component? What, as I mentioned here, apart from the Tableau desktop, right? You have Tableau server and Tableau public, all these elements. Let me tell you with the Tableau server. Okay, basically this Tableau server is exclusively to maintain the administrative activities. That is the primary goal of the Tableau server, and secondary goal is it is used to distribute and sharing the solutions of what you developed through desktop, Tableau desktop, which is helpful to distribute to the respective users, where it is shareable, secured. Okay, you can share the desktop, Tableau desktop related reports, and we can publish via this server to the end users, where they can view it through mobile or through web portal configurations. All such kind of activities is possible via Tableau server. And in terms of security of the data, right, it is having basically the Tableau supports role-based security privileges. Okay, in terms of maintenance of the server and site, it controls the Tableau server. Okay, and we can also administrate the set of creation of users and permissions, like projects and workbooks. All such kind of activities can be done through this Tableau server. And even the Tableau desktop dashboards what you generated, right, we can integrate through your mobile integrations also, can also be done via this Tableau server. Okay, and it is purely a web-based application. Tableau server is a web-based application, and it is purely for the administrative activities. In terms of deploying your dashboards from one environment to another environment, and in terms of access privileges, all sort of activities will be taken care by the Tableau server. Okay, and it is the maintenance wise, the Tableau server cost is very less. In terms of maintenance, all those things, the server configurations is very less. Like, it supports both the 32-bit operating system as well as the 64-bit operating system. Okay, and it supports, okay, in case if it is a 64-bit operating system, it supports 4 GB, 4 cores of CPU and 8 GB of RAM and 15 GB of free disk space. And in case if it is a 32-bit operating system, okay, it requires 2 cores of CPU and 4 GB of system memory and 15 GB of minimum disk space. It supports in this way. Okay, meantime, give me a second guys, let me download the Tableau quickly. Okay, now, so this is about Tableau server. Along with this, as I mentioned here, look at this. You have Tableau desktop, Tableau server, and you have Tableau public, Tableau online, Tableau reader as well. Okay, these are all the components guys. These are all the components which you will be using in terms of development, or once the development is done, you are going to use it. As a end user also, you can develop this dashboard. Okay. Now here we go. So similarly, we have Tableau Reader as well. So this Tableau Reader is exclusively helpful in terms of reading the data from that specific dashboard, which is being generated by the Tableau desktop. But look at this. It is again a free desktop application. Yes, it is a free desktop. But whereas in Tableau server as well as the Tableau desktop is not a free desktop applications. It is free. It is freeware, I can say. Tableau Reader is a freeware where you can download it with a free of cost, and you can use to interact with the data visualizations whatever you built in a Tableau desktop. But on top of this, right, with the help of this Tableau reader, you cannot modify the Tableau dashboard. You can only view it. The name itself is saying you can read it, but on top of it, you can apply a filter. You can apply drilling functionalities like drill down, drill up, such kind of stuff. And you can view the details designed by the author. Who is the author? The Tableau desktop person. It could be a developer or it could be a business user, whoever it is. But this Tableau reader is having certain disadvantages. Okay, Tableau reader is having certain disadvantages when you compare it with the Tableau desktop, because again it is having some limited options when you compare it with the server as well as the desktop. And to deal with this Tableau reader, again the configuration wise, you need a minimum hardware details, hardware configurations like 2 GB memory of RAM and 750 megabytes of free disk space. Okay, this is with the Tableau reader. But most of the cases in a realistic world, they used to deal with the Tableau desktop and Tableau server. But usage of the Tableau reader is very minimal because it is having certain limitations. But few of the organizations, they are using the Tableau reader because if they would like to, in terms of like stock market or in terms of like I can say like a weather reports, they are using this Tableau reader where they can distribute the Tableau desktop content whatever they develop through Tableau reader. So the users, they cannot modify, only they can view and they can apply sort of filters. That is also possible is there. So but all what I can say is very limited organizations are using this Tableau reader since it is having certain disadvantages in terms of enhancements or modifications. Okay, now the another one is Tableau public. Okay, this Tableau public is exclusively helpful, okay, in order to deal with the reports which you are being generated. Okay, now look at this again. Let's say you have developed a dashboard and you have distributed to Tableau public, and it is for anyone who wants to interact with the dashboards which is being generated via Tableau desktop. But all these interactions are happening on the web. Okay, and you'll be able to connect to the data sources and you can create interactive data visualizations and you can publish them directly to your website. And the other users, they can also download the data or the respective dashboard and they can do further exploration on the dashboard which you have been developed. Okay, and again it is having certain limitations where it cannot interact with the millions and trillions of data because it is a public application where it is doing most of the times on web. So that is the reason. Okay, and again when you compare it with Tableau desktop and Tableau server, it is having certain limitations. The biggest limitation what the Tableau public is having is in terms of the security of the data. If you are distributing through web, right, I mean to say anyone can interact with the report what you being developed. So no confidentiality of the data. So that is the reason. Okay, so Tableau public is having certain limitations. Okay, now similarly we have Tableau Online. Okay, Tableau Online. So this Tableau Online is exclusively used to maintain the platforms at a cloud level. Okay, cloud activities, and this cloud activities is exclusively maintained by the Tableau product persons. Okay, Tableau expertise. Okay, I mean to say from the product. Okay, and to deal with this Tableau Online, we need to pay some subscription fees to the product. Okay, and this cloud connectivity is exclusively available with the Google BigQuery, Amazon Redshift, MySQL, SQL Server, and Postgres SQL. These are all the majorly involved data sources in terms of the cloud connectivity. Okay, so this is with the Tableau Online application. Now these different elements, if you observe here, see, these different W elements in terms of desktop, all those things. Now, you can ask me a simple question. Does any of this application, no, absolutely not. Even a non-technical person, which means what I can say is a business user, okay, a business user, a non-technical person can also develop the interactive reports very easily with the help of these applications, okay. That is the biggest advantage that Tableau is having, okay. And maintenance wise, it is very easy. What sort of advantages we have with this Tableau is, it is having a capability to control the real-time data with a better visualizations, okay. Now, it also limits the amount of data to be visualized, okay, where end users can do a sort of utilities like filtering, like drilling down, all such kind of sophisticated features it is having, and it is very useful for the analysis and exploration and discovery of a data, where a right person can see the data at right time and they can take right decisions, okay. And even a domain expertise like business analysts, okay, they can also build the analytics. In earlier days, right, the business analytics, especially, I mean to say, business analysts, we used to call them, they are domain experts, data experts. They were not much familiar with the data exploration because we were not having such kind of a data visualization tool. But once the Tableau and this kind of advanced reporting tools are in market, they are also, with the non-technical knowledge, the domain experts, they are also exploring their organizational data in a well advanced way. And cost efficiency wise, it is very less, okay. Cost efficiency and low implementation cost. If you go ahead with the traditional practices, right, you need to implement, I mean, you need to have a lot of cost bareness, you should have it. But Tableau is avoiding all such kind of stuff, okay. Now, here we go, guys. Now let me show you, as I was mentioning, right, how this Tableau will work. Let me show you, because in what we are learning, okay, that's fine, that's not an issue, okay. So that is what, as I mentioned, right, so we can develop this kind of a sophisticated dashboards, okay. Anyhow, we will be discussing one by one in our upcoming sessions also, okay. Now, the first question what you can ask me is, how it is value added to my career, okay, right? Like the guys from the different educational backgrounds or different technical backgrounds, how it is going to, okay, how it is going to be value added to your careers, okay. For example, let's say I am a SAP BO developer, example, or I'm a mainframe developer, okay. See, mainframe is what is involved with most of the coding stuff, okay. And SAP BO is what? It is a traditional reporting solution, okay. But BO, when I compared with BO, why am I going there with the Tableau is, in terms of the data visualizations, it is the matured one, okay. So that is one reason. So a freshers also can learn this Tableau, where it is easy to learn and you have plenty of job opportunities. Once you are done with your academic qualifications, you will be placing very immediately. That is the first thing. And second thing, the guys who is working with the ETL knowledge like SAP BODS, SAP BW, Informatica, Data Stage, with these different technical persons also can learn this Tableau, because if you have a knowledge of both back-end application as well as the front-end application, yes, this is the front-end application, you have a value added to your career, okay. And the guys from a different educational background, okay, like MBA, okay, and Master of Biotech, Master of Inorganic Chemistry, okay, Chemical Engineering, a non-technical person also can learn this application Tableau is very easily, okay, and they can get the jobs. And to grade up your skill set, it is very recommended. The reason because at this point of time, okay, a third-party R&D organization, that is Davis organization, has announced very recently that Tableau is the reporting solution is standing in #1 position by occupying majority of the customers throughout the globe. So to fulfill your on-site aspirations, Tableau is the best recommended stuff. Okay. And in our upcoming sessions, what are we going to learn? Right? Yes. We will be learning a full-fledged course of content which is respective to both development as well as the administration. Okay. Initially, we will be learning, okay, the fundamentals. Okay, what is the power of a visualizations? Why it is required? Okay, and what is the importance? Okay, all those things, and the Tableau related fundamentals like menus and how to connect it to the different data sources. Okay, in case if it is SAP HANA, and in case if it is in case if it is RDBMS database, how we can interact with those respective sources. Okay. And can we able to interact with the different data source, and can we able to generate a single dashboard? Is that possible? So all such kind of stuff you will be learning at the fundamentals, because Tableau is having very advanced concepts like data blending and referential integrities, okay, and filtering. I mean multi-layer filtering, all such kind of advanced stuff you do have. But to deal with that, first you should understand the basic stuff with respect to fundamentals. Okay, and coming down to advanced, you will come to know about the SQL activities as well, because as I mentioned, right, it is very user friendly. But in case if high end of customizations are required, we can also incorporate the customized SQLs and we can develop a dashboards accordingly. Okay, and these are all the stuff that you will be learning, like the date functionalities, date calculations, table calculations, running totals. Okay, these are all the content that you will be learning in the advanced of content. Okay, this is a part of our course content. Okay, next, visual analytics, how we can group different segments of our data and we can apply filterings. Okay, how we can publish to different applications. Okay, and how we can do aggregations and pivoting, all such kind of activities you'll be learning. So once we are done with the these topics, we'll be touch base with the Tableau server. Okay, where we'll be discussing with installations, which is even we are going to deal with the installations. Hello, and in our server component level, we will be dealing with the installations, because installations also we have plenty of stuff like standalone installations, clustering. Okay, so different types of installations. So we'll be going ahead with that. Okay. And what sort of licensing activities, how we can do a metadata management here, permissions. Okay, so the data server maintenance, optimizations, sizing, everything you will be learning here. Okay, see the sizing, server security, everything you will come to know here. Okay, and once we are done with this administration, you will be learning you will be getting some additional informations like certification material. Okay, and then we have our own portal to distribute the day-to-day video records, or else we will be sharing the Google Drive. Okay, so where you can have a day-to-day video records, and we'll be distributing the material. Okay, with interview questions and answers, and we are going to provide you a weekly based scenarios for your day-to-day practice. Okay, just like I can say, like assignments. Okay, assignments over a week of time. On every weekend, okay, we are going to provide some sort of assignments so that you can have a real-time practice. Okay, that is one thing. And we will be providing you the server access for your practice. Of course, you can do it on your installation local system also, but server wise, better not to do it in your local system. We are recommending to go ahead with the online server. Okay, so that will be helping you out as well, so that you don't need to install any software. You can have a practice at your home itself. Okay, so all this sort of activities we are going to see it in our upcoming sessions. And what I can say is, it is full length of course. Okay, which includes both development as well as the administrative content. Okay,